Good morning, friends. Exactly 151 years ago, on today's day, 12th of January, was born Swami Vivekananda in 1863. So today is a very nice day to talk about Swamiji and to talk about how Sri Ramakrishna saw him. What we know about Swami Vivekananda is, by reading some articles or by reading his works, we have some idea how much can we know. But we know him through the eyes of Sri Ramakrishna, how he found him, how he looked upon him. Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda were the teacher and the disciple, the guru and the shishya. But there was much more. When these great personalities, the spiritual suns arise in the firmament of history of our world, always there is someone to assist them and carry on their spiritual legacy. Jesus had Peter and later on Paul. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had Nityananda. Bhagavan Buddha had Ananda. Sri Krishna had Arjuna as his disciple or friend. Sri Ramachandra's foremost disciple was Hanuman. Without Hanuman, you cannot think of Ramachandra. There are people who are more devoted to Hanuman than Sri Rama. In the same way, Swami Vivekananda had the same relation with Sri Ramakrishna. But it was perhaps much more intenser and much more closer than Arjuna and Krishna. Sri Ramakrishna had come to take a very important project in this changing world. The world which will become smaller, which will have to deal with many thoughts, many faiths, many religions, and there will be a lot of interaction among the people of this world. Science will be advancing, it will have conflict with the religious ideas. All religious people will mix in a global village, and that is this world. How will people live? And this scientific progress will increase the materialistic ideas about the fulfillment in the world. Is human beings' fulfillment only in having more? Will that make the person happy? So what is the way for this humanity that is coming, evolving, this great power whom we call God incarnate, or some say the power of God that came in the form of Sri Ramakrishna, had to deal with a big problem for the present and the coming age. And the problem, to solve the bigger problem, God had to come with the bigger power. That's why Swami Vivekananda said Sri Ramakrishna is Avatara Varishta. It didn't mean that Sri Ramakrishna is greater than Krishna or Rama or Jesus. It is the same personality that is born again and again. But that personality had to assume greater power to show the humanity which goes through greater conflict and live in harmony. And for that, Swami Vivekananda's presence was very important. Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda also said, all these great saints, incarnations, prophets, they generate that energy, that message. But to disseminate that message, they need someone who will carry forth that. Generating the message and also carrying that by himself or herself is not possible for one person in one life. So one just generates, and there is another to help to carry that message. So all the disciples did that. How the thoughts of Christ were carried forth through his 12 disciples, and foremost among them being Peter and Paul. Like that, Swami Vivekananda also came. He had to come. Without Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna would not fulfill his mission in this world, his advent would be incomplete. So that's why we were just hearing from the reading, the first meeting with Swami Vivekananda. When Sri Ramakrishna saw Swami Vivekananda for the Narendranath, his pre-monastic name, saw for the first time, he could see that this boy, 18-year-old, is not like ordinary person. There was not much conversation, much talk with him. But the real first meeting started when Narendranath came to Dakshineshwar, probably in December 1881. An 18-year-old boy coming with his friends. But seeing when Sri Ramakrishna saw this young man, he was surprised, he says. I was surprised to find a person like this in Calcutta, which the worldly people of worldly thought dominate. Can there be a person of this stature of spiritual evolution existing and living in Calcutta? Sri Ramakrishna was surprised, though he was waiting for that, but he had found. And why did he say that? Sri Ramakrishna, by his first appearance, he could understand the person's character, his state of the mind, and his spiritual stature. He saw Swami Vivekananda. His dress were not kept well, and hair was not in proper order. And that was not a sign of, it can be done because if a person is lethargic, he doesn't take care of his body or the dress or hair. That is called tamasika. Very lazy person can also be like that. So only Sri Ramakrishna's eyes could tell whether it was tamas or it was a sattva, who didn't need to have, his mind was so pure that his mind was not in his body or the clothes or the hair or how he looks. It was all thought going to God. That was Swami Vivekananda. Sri Ramakrishna says, I was surprised to find a person in this city of Calcutta where only worldly things reign, the one who has no idea of his body, who doesn't take care of his clothes and hair, and who is super condensed sattva. It was all because of the sattva or the power of serenity or the power of spirituality that kept his mind fully going towards God. And that will be cleared after some time of his conversation. So when he comes inside, Sri Ramakrishna understand, he is extraordinary. And after he came in, he asked him to sing some songs. Mono Cholo Nijediketani. And when Swami Vivekananda was singing, Sri Ramakrishna described the song was so wonderful. He says he put his heart and soul in the song, and it was so highly elevating that I myself went into ecstatic mood. Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual urge were aroused by the song, so that Swami Vivekananda sang. Because he put everything in the song. That was Swamiji's mind. His mind, even before coming to Sri Ramakrishna, was extraordinary. He could put his mind, whole soul in the thing what he did. We know the story that how he could, when he was in the school as a boy, he was seen to be a little talking with a person, with another friend. His teacher asked, why are you talking? What did I teach? And Swami Vivekananda said, you taught me this, sir. She said, how can you talking together and how can you hear me together? But he could put his mind, major mind, in the thing what he was hearing, what he was listening from the teacher. His mind was that concentrated, that powerful. And when he was singing here, it was that way, Swami Vivekananda. That's why Sri Ramakrishna's expression was that. After the song finished, he caught hold of his arm and pulled him to a veranda, northern veranda. Those who have gone to Dakshineshwar, you know, there are two verandas. Sri Ramakrishna, one is northeast and it was southeast. He took him to the northeast veranda. Southeast veranda is towards the temple, northeast veranda towards the outside, which was covered by a curtain, bamboo curtain, because it was a winter season, December, it's quite cold in Calcutta also, like it goes to 12, 13 degrees Celsius, no heating. So you can understand it's quite cold without heating those temperatures. And then Swami Vivekananda says, Sri Ramakrishna started crying, shedding tears profusely, and says, "You made so late to come to me? I have been waiting you for so long. Why didn't you come to me?" And Narendra was surprised. This person doesn't know me. I just sang that day in a Surendranath Mitra's house, and after that I have come here. What is he speaking about? He couldn't understand this. And Sri Ramakrishna says, "My ears are tired of hearing the worldly things from the people. And you have been just forgetting me and not coming to me." And after that, he just folded his hands and said, "I know who you are, O Lord. You are ancient, you are Narayana. Ancient says Nara in the form of Narayana. You are God in the form of human being that always comes to do good to the world." And he said that, and he started praying to Narendranath the boy. This saint which was revered as incarnation of God, as a great prophet, as a very holy man by the whole of Calcutta, this person started praying to Narendranath and folded hands. That was Sri Ramakrishna's view about Narendranath. Who Narendranath was? He is the incarnation of ancient, says Nara, with the form of Narayana. God himself came in the form of Narendranath. And next moment he had some fruit, sweets he had brought, and said, "Eat this," he was feeding with himself. Just see the love. How it would be without, if he didn't know who Narendranath was. It was not simply disciple and the guru relation. Just the first real meeting is happening, and this is their interaction. Narendranath first thought he's a monomaniac, a mad person. How is he speaking like this to me? He doesn't know me at all. Then when he was feeding, "Give me some," I share with his friends. Narendranath Sri Ramakrishna says, "That your friends will get later on. You eat from my hands." This shows the eternal relation that this incarnation have with their chief disciples. And after that, they came to the main room where his friends were waiting. And there, Narendranath asked, "Sir, have you seen God?" And Sri Ramakrishna replied, "Yes, I see God. And God can be seen and spoken as I am talking with you. And I see God more intensely than I see you. But who wants to see God? Who wants to know God? People are all busy in their worldly pursuits. They shed jugs of tears for their family man, but they don't have a drop to shed for the love of God. Who wants that? There was at least one person that time in the room who wanted to see God, and it was Narendranath. That brought him to Sri Ramakrishna. He heard of Sri Ramakrishna. There are many things. Perhaps he heard first from William Hasty, the principal of his college, when he was teaching Wordsworth poem on trance, on excursion. And there is a description of trance, a temporary trance, when mind just goes beyond our worldly perception. And when he said that, described that, he said, there is a person saint in Dakshineshwar who has experienced this state, going beyond the ordinary worldly level of thoughts, going in that stage of bliss. He heard of Sri Ramakrishna. And this Narendranath was searching here and there whether someone is there who has seen God. He went to all spiritual leaders and asked one question, "Sir, have you seen God?" Some said, "I have not seen." Some said, he didn't directly reply, But they say, your eyes are really like a yogi. You will achieve something in life. That was the indirect thing that I have not seen God. So no one he could find before he met Sri Ramakrishna that someone could say, I see God. This person, this thing, though he thought he was a monomaniac, but the way Sri Ramakrishna replied that, he had no doubt that this person is the God realized soul. And after all this crying and shedding tears and all that happened, after that he was perfectly normal. Sri Ramakrishna was normal. This was Narendranath's and Sri Ramakrishna's first meeting. It was like a big confluence of two mighty powers. Like a river, Mississippi and Missouri meeting together and becoming very powerful river. Like Ganga and Yamuna, it's more than Mississippi and Missouri, there has to be some holy feeling, spiritual connotation with this meeting. Like Ganga and Yamuna. When you say Ganga and Yamuna, along the mighty river comes the religious feeling, some spiritual feeling, the power to purify. So this confluence was that, this first meeting started. Then that time itself, Sri Ramakrishna said, are you coming to see me next? And Narendranath said, what to do? You are not leaving. I said, yes. Someone had to say, give words. For others, just he said, come again, was sufficient. When young Mahendranath Gupta came to Sri Ramakrishna, and he was also surprised seeing this saint, in a very terrible condition of mind he was, with all the problems of the world, terrible problems he was facing in the worldly life. Seeing this man, his all attitude changed towards life, and he found a great peace. And while he was departing, Mahendranath Gupta, Sri Ramakrishna said, come again. And that come again reverberated when he went home. He always felt, I feel like going back. This come again was the pull. They say Sri Ramakrishna had the invisible strings of rope that he tied us with still. And he just pulls us to him. That by that pulling we come to him. To Narendranath, he had got words. And Narendranath was a very truthful person. When he said something, yes, he had to come. He was a very strong-minded person also. And if he comes late, the project will become delayed. So Sri Ramakrishna wants Narendranath to come. From the very first vision, you know, how he knew Sri Ramakrishna, who Narendranath was. He was not ordinary mortal. He went into that samadhi where in a vision he saw his mind was soaring up and going, having the visions of many angels, then gods and goddesses, and their mind was soaring still higher. And it crossed the barrier of all forms and went to the formless state where there was no form. And suddenly there he finds 7 rishis, Sapta Rishi meditating. How could they come here with form? The people with form, the gods, angels were all behind, below. These rishis were greater than even gods with small g, greater than angels. They were always immersed in the divine thought. Nothing else. Very deep samadhi. And in that place, he finds the light. Sri Ramakrishna's vision is to be so clear, and his description, like the brick dust was the light, all undifferentiated light was there of the color of the brick dust. And that light, he says, condensed, a portion of that light which was present in that realm of formlessness, that condensed and took a form. Sri Ramakrishna is observing. And that took the form of a small baby child. And that child goes to one of the rishis and puts his arm around his neck and says, I am going down below. Will you come? And then there was no talk. The rishis, one of those rishis, eye open, and Sri Ramakrishna sees his face beaming with joy when he saw this boy. Form merging in the formless, formless condensing into a form. That was common. And Sri Ramakrishna says, by his appearance of that yogi, of that rishi, I could understand that this boy is the cherished form of that rishi. By his smile he could understand. And when he asked, I am going, you have to come down, then he didn't utter any word, I am coming. But he said the look he had, the rishi had, it was all affirmation. When I saw Naren, Swami Sri Ramakrishna says, I understood it was that rishi who had come in the form of this boy. He was not an ordinary man in the eyes of Sri Ramakrishna. And the days passed, Narendra used to come, and whenever he didn't come, it was terrible for Sri Ramakrishna. He couldn't come, he was studying, he was a student, he had something to do at home. So he didn't come for a few weeks. Sri Ramakrishna was terribly upset with his absence and not coming to Dakshineshwar. One night, there were some visitors in Sri Ramakrishna's house in the Dakshineshwar temple. He arranged their sleeping in a arranged bed in the veranda. And at night at 1 o'clock, Sri Ramakrishna comes to them and asks, hello, are you asleep? Two persons were there. One of them was Babu Ram Ghosh, who later became Sri Ramakrishna's monastic disciple, Narendra's brother monk. And he says, hello, are you asleep? Then they got up and says, you see, I can't sleep because of that boy. Naren, he's not coming. I have been waiting for him so long. He's not coming. When you go to Calcutta, can you ask him that I was waiting for him? Okay, when we go to Calcutta, we'll definitely tell him to come to you, that you are waiting for him. They go to bed, sleep down. After some time again, Sri Ramakrishna goes within 1 hour and wakes up. Are you sleeping? They were sleeping there, of course. Wakes up and, you see, I can't sleep, that Naren is not coming. The person who used to really keep awake at night, Sri Ramakrishna had very small, very little sleep. He used to keep awake at night, pace his room and think of Mother Kali. It's all thoughts on God. And this time, all his thoughts from God were just transferred to Narendranath. And Narendranath, for him, was none other than God. The God came in this form to do the performance of God's project, God's plan. He had to mold Narendranath, train Narendranath. The right fit instrument was there. Everything was going according to the divine plan. Narendranath had to come to him more. He has to accept what Sri Ramakrishna's ideology of Sanatana Dharma, and he had to accept the thought of respect for all. And it was like meeting of Narendranath and Sri Ramakrishna. Some authors described it as the meeting of the East and West, of the modern and ancient, of the science and religion, of the region and devotion, of the service and knowledge. All were meeting. Sri Ramakrishna represented ancient devotion, Sri Ramakrishna represented all those thoughts of religion. Narendranath was modern in outlook, in studies, in reasoning. They had to come together for the good of mankind. Mankind has to know that all are one. East and West, there is no real difference. All is same. Human being all over the world is same. You cannot differentiate the world in that way. North or South, East and West, black and white. You cannot distinguish. It is all human beings. And all human beings are different formations of God. Then, like that was his love for Narendranath. One day he was talking. Whenever people came, sometimes he used to talk about Narendranath. How great. He wanted to impress upon his other disciples who Narendranath is. You will not understand. Some thought Narendranath to be very arrogant. One person came and he wanted to go to Calcutta. He asked Narendranath also can come with me in the carriage. And Narendranath was sitting other side, opposite of him. That's it. That man, because Sri Ramakrishna loved him, he said, come, sit beside me. Narendranath did not pay heed to that person. He didn't go at all to him, he didn't talk. And Narendranath, Sri Ramakrishna knows that, and he said, do you see Narendra's independence? He doesn't see his arrogance. He knows what Narendranath is. Did you see his independence? He doesn't come under pressure of anyone. He does what he likes. Sometimes people thought, oh, Narendra had gone bad. There were all rumors after his father died and all the problems were there. Oh, he has gone berserk. He has become bad guy. He goes any place, he drinks and eats anything he likes. Like that, rumors started coming to Sri Ramakrishna, coming to Narendranath's mother. Narendranath's mother was worried. Sri Ramakrishna said, keep quiet. All your things are incorrect. I know who Narendranath is. Swami Vivekananda said, this person is the only one in the world who has so much faith in me. Narendranath can do no wrong. All what you heard are false. That was Sri Ramakrishna's opinion on Swami Vivekananda. When he used to describe about Narendranath to his disciples, people, he used to say, you know how great is this man, this boy? If others are small flowers, Narendra is like 1,000-petal lotus. If others are small fish, it's like a big red-eyed rohu fish. There are some rohu fishes that are big fish. If others are like small stars, it's like a blazing sun. If others are a small pot of water, earthen jar is like a big jar that carries Ganga water, jala I call. They have a big jars where you put the water, jala it's called. So like that, he always compared Narendranath to a superlative degree compared to other persons. Others thought it might be love of his disciples, but it was very strange that this saintly person has that much esteem for this Narendranath. One day he said, Narendranath was a follower of Keshav Chandra Sen. He was a member. He was attracted by Keshav Sen's eloquence, his sermons, and the way they were preaching the religion, Navavidhan. And one day Sri Ramakrishna says, Keshav is great. Keshav Sen was Sri Ramakrishna's almost friend. Keshav is great, but compared to Keshav, if Keshav has a few qualities, Narendra has 18 qualities. He's 18 times greater than Keshav Chandra Sen. Everyone was surprised what Sri Ramakrishna is saying. Because of his love for this boy, he's making him very, very superlative. Even Narendranath heard that. He was there present. He was totally embarrassed. And he came to Sri Ramakrishna and says, what are you saying, sir, these things? What people will think of you? Well, Keshav Sen, world famous this orator who meets the Queen Victoria in England, and he is respected. He has so many followers. He is a spiritual leader, founder of a new religion of Navavidhan, and you are comparing him to me, who am a member of that small society. People will say you are a mad person. Please don't talk like that. Sri Ramakrishna says, do I say by myself, by making and thinking? The Divine Mother shows me this thing. I know who you are. It has been revealed to me. It's not my making. I don't want to make you big just because I love you. This is the revelation to me that I am speaking. When Swami Adbhutananda, that great was Swami Narendranath, Swami Vivekananda. When Narendranath, after Sri Ramakrishna passed away, Narendranath went for a tour of India on food, Paribrajaka life, everything was okay. And then suddenly they found, they heard that Narendranath had gone to America, he has come. And after that, the success of his talk of 11th September at that World Parliament of Religion, that went to India. Then Swami Adbhutananda, who was an unlettered person, great disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, shepherd boy, who had become a saint, Sri Ramakrishna had that power. By his wish, look, touch, he could transform a person. But of course the person has to have some quality. Sri Ramakrishna says that not that. He looked so many persons. Did all become saint like Swami Adbhutananda? No. Adbhutananda had some metal. That metal can be made. Not that every stone can be made into a statue, into an idol, into image. There has to be the property of that particular stone. That will make a beautiful image out of that. So like that, one has to have that, but Sri Ramakrishna was a very wonderful sculptor. He could make beautiful images, beautiful statues out of the stone, carve that. And he carved Adbhutananda. And this news came of great revelation of Swami Vivekananda as the world teacher who could influence the cream of the society of the most progressive world, and the United States in Chicago, the biggest city of his time. Then Adbhutananda was very happy. Why he was happy? He said, not happy because his brother monk got so much success and honor, but because what Sri Ramakrishna had said now comes true. The world had to see that Sri Ramakrishna had so much praise for him, and that was not being revealed. How he is so extraordinary. It was revealed far away in Chicago, and that made that what Sri Ramakrishna said, how it is true, and that made Swami Adbhutananda very happy that Sri Ramakrishna words cannot go wrong. Then Narendranath's father dies, that poverty comes, there was not even food to eat at home, the sisters and brothers, and the mother was unfed. Narendranath tried much for getting a job. One job he got, and that went away. After that he's not getting a job. There were people to be counted in fingers who were graduate at that time. Narendranath was one of them. But he was not getting job by some providential, some plan. And when once Narendranath was, rumor came that Narendranath is going to get married, someone started giving proposal. And Sri Ramakrishna heard that. And he started praying to Divine Mother. Mother, do something that it is not materialized, that it fails. He should not marry. That he started praying. Not that Sri Ramakrishna prayed for everyone, that they should not get married. But for Narendra, he said, no, this should not work, this should not get married. He has a lot of things to do. His birth was not for having only a few members as his family members, his wife and children. The whole world has to be his family. And if it settles in a small thing, the large thing that he is made for may be dampened. So he used to pray that. And he came finally to Sri Ramakrishna and said, you have your Divine Mother. Please say to her something and make my life a little easy. Something my mother and sisters and brothers are not eating. I cannot sleep. I have no rest. I have no peace. Nothing I can do. Please do something for me, telling to her mother. Sri Ramakrishna said, why should I say? Why don't you go and tell her? Because you don't accept Divine Mother, that's why you get this trouble. That Sri Ramakrishna said. Accepting Divine Mother, that also can be explained. Accepting Divine Mother is that this whole universe is under the plan of a system which has pairs of opposites. There are good times and bad times. There is joy and sorrow. All those come. When we can accept all these difficult things, then we have accepted Divine Mother. It's not that worshipping Mother Kali or Mother Durga, you have accepted Divine Mother. Accepting Divine Mother is accepting the things that are unpleasant to us. Swami Vivekananda's poems, if you read, most of the poems will have the love for the terrible, love for the difficulties. If you can do that, then you can realize God. Not only for the cozy and nice and happy days. Love everything. That is accepting Divine Mother. Because you don't accept Divine Mother, that's why you get this trouble. Go and pray to her. Whatever you say, it will be granted. He assured, Sri Ramakrishna assured that. Now there was nothing left. Then first time, after so many years of coming to Dakshineswar, and the temple was like a few feet away from Sri Ramakrishna's room. Everyone, other devotees used to come to Sri Ramakrishna, used to go to temple, pray to Mother, bow down in front of her. Swami Vivekananda never went to Kali temple. Few feet away. through the courtyard. Why? Because he had said to the Brahmo Samaj that I will not accept image worship. He was very strict in that. When other person who had put signature, he was going to Kali temple, he said, why are you going? Swami Brahmananda. Why are you going there? You have put the signature, you have vowed that you will not accept image worship. Sri Ramakrishna said, if you don't want to accept, you do. Why are you pressing him? He knows where the God is. God is in form, God is without form. So why should you obstruct him? So this time, he went to the temple. And Narendranath there could not pray for food and money and comfort, and came to Sri Ramakrishna. And when Sri Ramakrishna heard that, he said, don't do it. And what he prayed for then, Narendranath? He prayed for knowledge, devotion, and all the high qualities of life. Dispassion, discrimination, make my mind pure, like that thing he prayed. And Sri Ramakrishna was very happy that he went there and prayed to Mother, and Swami Vivekananda could feel the presence of God in that temple in front of the Mother. He could feel that God is there. And he said, asking for food and money and little comfort in life was so futile, and it was so little, it was going to God and asking for potatoes and eggplants. He said, it can't be done. When you reach that rich person, king, and you ask for potatoes and eggplants, is asking very less. When you go to king, ask for some riches, some diamonds and golds. So that he felt, that was not to be asked for Divine Mother. Then he asked that, and he said to Sri Ramakrishna, he was so happy, Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna said, you have done the right thing. From henceforth, there will be no problem for your simple food and simple clothing for your whole family. Sri Ramakrishna blessed. And Sri Ramakrishna was so full of joy that next day some visitors came. He was beaming with joy. Naren had accepted Divine Mother. That was a big project in Sri Ramakrishna's plan for preaching his thought of this spiritual awareness to the whole world. If he would not do that, he would be one-sided. Swami Vivekananda would be one-sided. Swami Vivekananda was meant that this Ramakrishna Vivekananda philosophy is for the whole world, for all types of people who accept Divine Mother, who accept Brahman, who accept Jesus, for all. Sri Ramakrishna's coming was for deluding the world with spiritual awareness, and Swami Vivekananda had to be the main pillar of that. Then, another day, some people came, and so Sri Ramakrishna said to them, you see, Naren is sleeping there. He has accepted Kali. Isn't it good? He has accepted Divine Mother. Oh, he had to feel Lord Sri Ramakrishna. You will not go to Kali temple. You see, Swami Vivekananda was so strong mind. Then he said, I taught him some songs. He had been singing whole night. Ma Tom Gitara. Oh Mother, you are the Redeemer of this world. He had been singing so whole night, and now he is tired and sleeping. Isn't it great that he accepted Mother Kali? He said. After that happened, when he sang, then that very night before the morning broke, that is very important to understand how Sri Ramakrishna saw Narendranath. Then he asked Narendranath to prepare a Haval bubble. And Swami Vivekananda and Narendranath prepared at night, and Sri Ramakrishna smoked that. Then he said to Sri Ramakrishna, you smoke? Narendranath is to smoke. And he said, smoke from my hands. You can have a bubble, it's more like a bulb, something there, you have to hold it, and he was giving that. And Narendranath said, give me the pot, I will smoke from it. People said, no, you smoke from my hand. Then he was smoking. At that time he already knew who Sri Ramakrishna is, and it was difficult for him to touch his fingers with his lips. Sri Ramakrishna's fingers being touched with the lips of Swami Vivekananda, this was very, this is not in the culture here. So he said, remove that, how can I touch your fingers with my lips? He said, don't worry, smoke it. Then he did that, Narendranath. Then what, to his amazement, Narendranath's amazement, Sri Ramakrishna is again taking that Haval bubble and started smoking. He said, what are you doing? I have made you touch your fingers. He said, what? How are you doing that? So Sri Ramakrishna said, what is thought you have, small-mindedness? Is this and this different? It's one. Why this small thought you have that you are separate from me, you are different from me? That here he shows that you are not different from me. What is Sri Ramakrishna? That is Rabindranath. It is one personality working in two ways. And Sri Ramakrishna didn't listen to Narendranath and he smoked with the finger that was defiled by the touch of Narendranath's lips. He smoked that. That was Sri Ramakrishna's relation with Narendranath. When Narendranath, Swami Vivekananda was being worshipped after Swami Vivekananda passed away, people complained to Holy Mother. Sri Ramakrishna is the incarnation of God. He is very highly evolved person. He is our Ishta, we all know. Swami Vivekananda, no doubt, extraordinary personality, and he did a lot of to preach Sri Ramakrishna's thoughts. But after all, he was his disciple. How can Guru and disciple be worshipped in the same level? How can they be put in the same altar? Guru first, then the disciple a little lower. That's okay, that we accept. But Guru and disciple on the same level. They complained to Holy Mother. Mother, is it okay that Swami Vivekananda is worshipped at the same level of Sri Ramakrishna? Do we approve this? Are they doing right thing? Holy Mother said, if Sri Ramakrishna was living, he would not like this. That's why Vivekananda is being worshipped beside him. What he would do is, he would put Swami Vivekananda on his own lap. Try to make them feel people that Swami Vivekananda and Sri Ramakrishna is one. And he would be worshipped. That's how Holy Mother knew the relation between Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda. So, on today, this 12th of January, it's so wonderful to talk about Swami Vivekananda and think how Sri Ramakrishna saw his disciple. Nowhere you would find the disciple being taken as equal to the great spiritual incarnation or prophet. Never Sri Krishna said, I and you are one to Arjuna. Yes, Sri Ramakrishna said, I and you are one. Of course, Jesus said, I and my Father are one, but he didn't say, I and St. Paul or St. Peter are one. So Swami Vivekananda comes to that stature that whatever he writes, or if you read the Gospel and the complete works, you'll find the whole complete works in 9 volumes is just the explanation of what Swami Sri Ramakrishna taught in the Gospel. When Swami Vivekananda heard that worship, the ideal is to serve human being, seeing them as God. Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva is the ideal. Just that he heard. Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva. Serve human beings as God. He said, what a great revelation. If time comes, I will explain this to the whole world, if God gives me a chance. That was Swami Vivekananda. If you read his Karma Yoga, it's all that. What Sri Ramakrishna spoke, his whole complete works in 9 volumes are the explanation of Sri Ramakrishna's teachings and philosophy. It's Sri Ramakrishna in another form that came to make his teachings and hold his philosophy and his work of preaching mankind and taking mankind from darkness to light, to give us light and knowledge and love, that both the souls work together. That's what Sri Ramakrishna's views on Vivekananda was, that came to fulfill what I generated and started, and disseminate it not to a small sect, not to a small community, but to the whole world. World needs the thought that Sri Ramakrishna was born and was meant for. Thank you.